on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here's Chris Plank and Teddy Lehman.
And defense. Brent Venables.
All right.
What's up, baby?
All right.
How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Huh?
Yeah.
Feels like game day, doesn't it? They're ready to go.
Yeah. It's
They're
going to be here
go.
quick. Yeah.
It seems like we haven't played in like 2 months, but I imagine for you it seems like it was just yesterday, right? What's the wait been like for you guys?
I mean,
By the way, congratulations on making the playoffs. We haven't had a chance down here Rudy's with us since.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's good to see everybody. Yeah, I mean, again, we had 2% chance 6 weeks ago, to be in this position. I think maybe even a lesser chance to win this week. So we're right on schedule according to everybody else. But we've had a good, we got after it pretty good last week. Just really worked on fundamentals and, again, just areas where, people maybe exploited us, with lots of all the stuff that people exploit you with. Really took a good look at ourselves. That's probably the most pleasing part of all of it is our guys didn't dread that. They welcomed that. And we're able to get a couple of days off before getting back together. We had treated yesterday like a Monday and today like a Tuesday of game week. So had a good practice today. And we've got a ton of really good-on-good work dating back to last week and a lot of really good-on-good situational work that we need to get better at. So we're able to celebrate Tate Sandell. How about him winning the Groza?
Awesome.
In that pretty big time.
Talking about that.
So big time. Yeah, from little old UTSA. So that was cool. And he was named the SEC Special Teams Player of the Year. And then Grayson Miller was first team all SEC, punter. And I'm laughing. And not that there's anything funny about it other than, man, he was so inconsistent in the spring. And so when you don't have a whole lot of opportunity to punt, you're not punting every day in front of the team. It's segmented, and you're in spring ball, so you're only out on the fields for 3 or 4 days a week over a 5-week period of time. And he was not where he is right now. I'll just say that. I don't need to go over the top on him. But, man, he wasn't good. And to see where he's at now only because, Jacob got a thigh strain, and so he got his opportunity to get in there, and he's never looked back. So really cool to see him have the kind of success. And both of those players are amazing leaders. Like not only they have a voice, they know what to say. They sound like a quarterback or a middle linebacker when they're up in front of the team. They're not meek in any way. They got great strength. They understand what our program's about. And they know how to get the best out of guys and to respond the right way. And then again, obviously Ben Anderson, with his holds and snapping and things like that. It really impressive, group of guys. But from a health standpoint, I feel like we're getting some guys back, and we'll see how the rest of the week goes that way. And they missed several guys. They had several guys. Alabama did several guys out for the SEC championship. And the cool thing about it is next year we get to add one more SEC game before we get to this point. So, but no,
and you don't get another just another weekday off either. It's just another game and then less bye week.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll have to do a good job of when we get there to that point. But really excited again about our team right now. They're again where they're at mentally, and every team you would are not always the same. With their energy, their enthusiasm, their willingness to work, and again receive all the same critique and coaching that you've been doing for how many weeks that is since we've been going at the end of July. Sometimes it can grow thin on guys, but I think our staff has done a really good job of just connecting with our guys in the right ways and bringing out the best in them. And then the players at the end of the day, and I've said this, they've developed this identity and this ownership where they've really kind of taken over, a lot of it as well. I do think that they do have a chip on their shoulder. Again, we got a bunch of underdogs and misfits that are in there already. And then just, the fuel, I don't know if it's to the fire or whatever, because, we're not, nobody thinks that's not the main reason. We like to compete. We believe in ourselves. We believe in this opportunity. That kind of overrides all of that. But, and then they like to be challenged, when you talk about, Alabama, the last time they lost twice in the same season, the same team, it's been 1893. Like, they're like, let's go. Guys like to challenge, If you're about the right stuff, you love to be challenged and somebody to say that you can't, and that you won't, you're not capable of. So our guys are in a really, really good place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and, mindset, you mentioned you love the mindset. And maybe it was Taylor Wine. I heard one of the guys say when, asked about the playoff.
Because, it was Wine.
Well, it was. Because it's a big deal, to be in the playoff. And he's like, we've been in the playoff, for 4 games now.
Yeah.
And that mindset, I think that is maybe, I don't know if it's an advantage, however you want to say it, but to know that they have been living on the edge, I think is kind of comforting that, this isn't new for us.
Yeah, we haven't beaten a bunch of slaps here the last month, and everybody knew we were going to be in this position. Oh, now this is the playoff. And so, respectfully speaking, you're like, okay, here's another one. Another big moment, another big opportunity, and you put everything into it, and you don't get into these pressure-filled moments and, play on your heels or doubt or, worry, now what do you do? And there's a comfort to playing in several fourth quarter games, and where every play and every drive and every moment has some magnitude to it. And you got to walk in that, and you got to embrace it and run towards it.
This opening segment is brought to you by Noble McIntyre with McIntyre Law. Noble McIntyre and McIntyre Law, award-winning Oklahoma personal injury attorneys. Now, we've had this conversation a couple times coming off bye weeks, right? Because we had 2 byes, and you talked about the self-scouting. How different was it to have 12 games of evidence? You can look back at the whole season, and it's, all right, this is where we still need to get better. Owen Heineke talked about linebackers, maybe getting the calls, I don't know if he said quicker or adjusting better. Just everything seemed to be really focused on Oklahoma. How nice was it to have this with 12 games of evidence?
Yeah, no doubt. And again, coachable teams, fix mistakes, and again, hungry-driven football team, which is what we've developed as, one of the things that kind of defines this team and its identity is a group of guys that got great self-awareness, and nobody's too big, for the britches, and even through all the success, man, this has been a group of guys that are like, man, coach me, like I'm a freshman, and they've taken on that personality. So I love that, and that gets you as excited to get to game day as much as anything because of this incremental improvement that you'll have and experience as a result of having that kind of an attitude. And for us, maybe what's it look like? Well, we need to execute better. This is a game of physicality and execution. And you get to these moments, you got to have those things. And so how do you can't beat each other up, to a pulp. You got to get to game day. But you have to be physical and be efficient that way. And then, man, it's not just another drill. It's not just another walkthrough. It's not just routes on air. Man, there's got to be purpose in every single thing that you're doing. And if it's ever mattered, it matters right now. And so, man, how well can we go and execute? We're going to go against each other, and so there's going to be some failure. But what you're going to go against on game day isn't going to be just, night and day difference. It's going to be close to what you're going to see. So let's go do it right now. Now, the offense finished the day with a two-minute. They had 38 seconds, 1 timeout, and they needed a field goal to go win. And, man, they went. And this is kind of how the last week and a half has gone, that the offense is just, man, they've taken these big steps that get me fired up and excited. And it ain't them doing it over against the scout team. They're doing it against good people, and maybe where they haven't had as much consistent success, they've had more of it here the last, since we played last. And so what does that look like? Well, get the ball out on time, be accurate, catch the ball in tight coverage, so being physical through the top of the route. It's, moving the double team, like physically watch the double team get knocked off the ball. And it goes both ways. I'm like, what in the hell? How are we? Get your pads down. Fight back. Get your cleats in the ground. You don't want nobody to get knocked off the ball, but you do.
Right.
And, running backs running with more purpose and timeliness of a 2-minute, or, we got, red zone. Team red zone, and just executing and scoring touchdowns and understanding what we're seeing from a coverage standpoint, where the leverage is, and the receiver recognizing the coverage based on the motion and knowing how to sit the route down right now, and the quarterback getting it out right now, seeing it, same thing. That's what good teams do. Good teams execute at a pretty dang good level at this time of the year. And so, again, I just gave you a snapshot, and most of it was about offense, but all three phases sharing that. And so those are the things that, get you excited, what you're seeing.
This is Sooner Sports Talk, and Brent Venables is back with us in Rudy's. We'll start previewing more of Alabama, talk about a couple of those guys that have been battling injuries, and get you ready for the playoffs here in Norman. Stick around. We're live from Rudy's with Brent Venables.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused.
Man in motion is Hill. There's the snap. Quick throw across the middle. Intercepted. Eli Bowen's got it. 20 on the return. 30. Only one man to beat. He's in midfield. It's a race. There goes Bowen. 30. Cuts near side. Still on his feet. 20 at the 10. They're not going to get it. Pick 6. They did it to him again. Pick 6. This time Eli Bowen. Touchdown Sooners. Oh, mama.
Eli Bowen showed off some moves. I think I've watched that thing about 1,000 times.
He was a ball magnet in high school. His junior year, he had 10 picks and a gazillion PBUs. And, early on, and for a good part of his recruitment, he was not a highly ranked guy because he's smaller in stature. But as we know, plays really big. And just his disruption, on the ball was something that's really special. But he's been able to do the same thing, since he's been here. He's done the exact same thing. Good tackler, a guy that, again, is always around the football, making things happen. And he's just kind of getting into his best football of the season. He missed, he missed all the spring and then a good part of the summer. It was just – he had a couple of different injuries with his foot, and but thankfully, man, he got back. And those two guys, and Wade Jacoby's playing, and Day Jordan, that foursome has really played well for us this year. Jay's done a great job with that group.
Well, how'd you feel whenever you were sitting there and you saw Alabama pop up? Because I was thinking I wasn't
all fired up. I was like, come on, man, really? And I like the idea of playing somebody that you haven't played, and I'm not complaining. You asked, and I'm being just totally honest. And then then after maybe an hour or so, it was like, hey man, this is like they have been the gold standard in college football the last 15 years. However long ago Coach Saban was there, and Coach DeBoer's done a great job since he got there and has taken over. So why wouldn't you want a piece of them? You just know how hard they are to kill. And just respectfully, and I don't want anything easy. But anyway, that being said, it's, again, all the things that made you excited about okay, we get to play them at their place, and it's been since I think 2003 that we were there, and to be able to go back, and they've kind of, again, between them and Georgia, have run the SEC for a good while. To be able to play them earlier and then be able to find a way to win, snap a 17-game home winning streak and put ourselves in this position was really cool. So being able to play them again, this is going to be, again, another moment where if you're fortunate enough to win, you're like, man, we earned it, for sure.
Yeah, and we'll go a little bit more in depth in our opponent preview coming up later, but people forget Ty Simpson was executing at an elite level. He was the top Heisman candidate whenever Oklahoma went in there and beat them. Alabama was on a run that included wins over Georgia and Tennessee. I mean, and everyone acts like they're schleps because Oklahoma beat them. Yeah. Like, well, Oklahoma went in there and beat them. But, Coach, it's a really good football team that had a heck of a run.
Yeah, just go start looking on their roster. You got the roster there. I try not to look at all their players and what they accomplished, and but I mean their receivers. I mean they're really good and really talented. They're hard to tackle. They're hard to cover. And their tight ends, 80 is a great athlete. They've always had these one or two tight ends that are just kind of freakazoids. And then all their backs, they're just, they got back after back after back, and they roll them out. And they, like this Daniel Hill, he's 244 pounds. And then Richard Young, we had him on an official visit, #1 running back in the country. Jam Miller, he is just a beast. He's 5'10", 225 pounds. He's bigger than Kip Lewis. And anyway, nobody's laughing they're like I'm excited about the challenge, okay? But I also,
I'm laughing watching them go through it and just realize, oh dang, yeah, they do have some difference.
On defense, you got this guy right here.
Dijon Lee, Damani Jackson, Xavier Brown. These are all guys that were #1 corners in the nation coming out of high school. I recruited, their safety, Keon Sabb, had him committed to Clemson. He's a top safety in the country coming out of high school, went to Michigan and transferred there. These monsters up front, recruited so many of them, James Smith, Tim Keenan, L.T. Overton. We tried to get Justin Hill. He was a linebacker, outside linebacker. Jordan Renard. Keon Keeley, thought we had him. All these guys. I told you I didn't want to read through them.
Ted,
I had a lot of confidence until I came over here tonight.
Ted, Ted's got a spotter board there, man. Show me your spot. Look, he's got everything laid out and ready to go.
Well, Toby does.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We're credited. By the way, this segment is presented by Dos Equis. Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. But that's the kind of challenge you want. And it seems like this team has not just embraced it, but gone above and beyond. I've been meaning to ask you this for a couple of weeks. When was that moment? I don't know if the term would be trusting your leadership or where you realized, all right, these dudes got it. Was there a moment this year where you saw, I don't know if it was R. Mason or one of the leaders or someone that's like, Coach, we got this or we got that, where you realized this is truly a player-led team? Yeah,
I mean, there's been good signs the entire year. We had a wonderful out of season and a great fall camp and things of that nature, but where they all just kind of collectively said, all right, man, let's go. Coaches, we got this. It was really somewhere after the Ole Miss game. And so sometimes it takes some of those gut check moments where you kind of come to that fork in the road in the season. What are we going to do? Who we're going to be. And it's not like you have all these issues. I mean, you lose a heartbreaker, where you have a 1-point lead in the fourth quarter and you fumble the ball and they get a field goal out of it and you're behind and then they punch one in late. Next thing it's an 8-point game, but it's where you have a chance to beat a really good team. You're still trying to figure some things out, and but it took, I think, I know we beat South Carolina after Texas, and then we had that loss against Ole Miss, and where our guys just kind of galvanized and kind of came together collectively as a team.
Yeah. You've got the playoff experience. You've been in the playoff. How is this format different, or do you like it? Just kind of the logistics of it, I guess.
Truth serum? The season is a challenge. And it's a blast. It goes by so fast. You know, the days are very, very long, but the season goes by so fast. You know, so at the end of the year, you win, you put yourself in position, and then you go win your first one, and then and it's just like complete total exhaustion. And it's like that's how it is every week. I mean, you're just like, oh, son of a gun, you know, and you're just looking forward to the next like 2 hours, you know, eating and having a soda pop and high-fiving your family. And then it's just like, oh, geez, you know, I got to get myself up. You got to get yourself off the mat. And you got to go right back at it again. You got to start completely over. And so you get to that, you know, oh, we just won. Yeah, I mean, the place is coming undone, and then it's just like, oh, we got to get ready to go do it again, you know, and you got another mountain to climb. So, but that's what makes it so gratifying, and, you know, you're fortunate enough to get to all the way to the end, and you win them all. It's really very anticlimactic. Yeah. And, you know, the anxiousness and the excitement and the passion, it really comes from the middle of the game or everything leading up to it. It's a Tuesday practice. It's the freaking last walkthrough of the year, and you're just like, you know, I don't know, pins and needles, but you're like, oh man, this is the last walkthrough, you know, and so you're trying to put together the perfect walkthrough script. You know, because everybody's counting on you, man. You can't just it's just another walk. No, it's the last one. You better make it count. And then you have all the highs and lows of game day, and you go win, and it's just like, hey, you know what I mean? It really is.
Yeah. Do you wish it started like right out of the gate and kept rolling, or do you like the break? I know there's some signing day and stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we had this time. Let's get it started. I'd love it if it was, you know, one every week.
Yeah. Which might be the future. Which might be what's down the road. Hey, a little early for this. Our Rudy's question for Coach actually comes from the entire Rudy's crew of regulars, Coach, because they have a question. Any big plans on Thursday, and is chocolate okay?
Chocolate okay.
It's Coach's birthday on Thursday.
Oh, is that right? All right.
And not only are we going to make sure you get a great. Did you even realize it? Had this week gone?
I knew. I was about to say my sons are coming in town, and so I knew that was happening. We're having Christmas on Saturday. Yeah, got to have Christmas early.
They brought you a cake.
Oh,
they brought
that was
you
thoughtful.
balloons.
Thank you.
I mean, how about that?
Oh, that was nice.
And
Thank you.
As we go to break, how about a round of happy birthday to Coach? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Look at that. Look at that cake.
Nice.
That's great.
Thank you.
On Thursday.
Double nickels.
Double nickels,
Double
baby.
nickels.
Happy birthday,
Let's go.
Coach.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. We'll come back and talk about Alabama. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
Simpson's got it. Sooners bring pressure. Looking middle, under pressure. Hit as he throws. Ball's out. Spinning around on the ground, and the Sooners have it. Kendall Daniels falls on it. Oklahoma forces their third turnover of the day.
Welcome back to Rudy's. We are counting down to Friday night in Norman, and this segment is brought to you by Riverwind Casino, official entertainment destination for OU Athletics. What do you make of the whole city kind of shutting down on Friday? You saw OU moved its finals, which, by the way, it was the last day of finals. So they moved it up a day. Norman Public Schools will be closed, and they'll move things up. And I think City Hall shutting down at noon. Fired up, Coach. We're making sure everyone's
finally got their act together around here. No, it's great. Yeah, it's good.
It's going to be a lot of energy, I think, more than anything else. And you've been great about, hey, we don't need to remind our fans. They've been great all season long. But, I mean, you probably expect, one of the best environments that we've seen.
Oh,
Prime
yeah.
time on a
The
Friday night.
weather's going to be amazing.
60 degrees. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got a chance to be pretty special.
Yeah, no doubt. And now it's time to go perform for them, make it one of those nights to really, really remember. But, yeah, it's been fantastic, and you want that for your student body, the fans, to be able to share that together and having our players, parents all be able to be here as well. Man, that's really special.
Well, Alabama coming in, and, they had to go play that extra SEC championship game. And obviously you had the matchup that you guys have. What have you learned from about them since you've played, if anything?
Well, again, they were shorthanded when they played last as far as just injury, man, just been decimated. And, it was a very similar game to the game where we played them. Turnovers were huge early in the game. Field position, they had a big play. They blocked a punt. Georgia does. I think they scored on it. So, like, total yards were not. Wasn't like this big disparity in the total yards. Next thing you know, it was 21-0, and it's a hard thing. Georgia's has got a really, really good football team that's gotten better all year long. And they have the ability to have really good game control, and did a nice job of not letting them, get back in. It really kind of slammed the door. But again, some of it you're like, well, they didn't have several guys, and so it's hard, to judge from that standpoint. But they kind of got on them early, kind of some things that we did. But again, it's a tough team. We know we're going to get their best version. And again, he talked about Ty Simpson and then all the players they have on defense, and certainly, again, the explosive playmakers they have on offense and monster offensive line. They've gotten, better here recently at just kind of playing, complimentary football, but they haven't taken care of the ball, against us, against, Georgia. But that's a team that all, from a body of work, they really did a great job of doing that and getting it back on defense. So, we got to do a great job of just doing the things that we can control, and not letting the turnovers be on the wrong side of that. If you do that, man, you got a great chance to walk away, in advance.
It's our opponent preview brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan fueled, athlete focused. Do you, your first year, you used a phrase that I fell in love with, talking about stripping it to the studs. So
Yep.
Game plan wise, you have a foundation for what worked against Alabama. Do you go back and strip it to the studs and kind of start over?
You start over. You do. Everything. I think that's the purest way to do it. And I've, done where you played people, whether it's twice in just, in a year and a half period of time, or even in the same season. I think that's the right way to go. Maybe you have some similar thoughts. Maybe you get away from that and say, man, I don't know what we were thinking there, Or again, they have answers too. It's a well-versed staff, and again, good players, good schemes, and hard to stop. So, yeah, you go back and you kind of start completely over. And again, whatever that was, it was 3.5 weeks ago that we played them, and believe it or not, a lot of things change. And even here late in the year, what you feel like you're getting better and better at. And again, things that, you're always looking just fundamentally where you could have played better. They did like a fake sideline check, where everybody stands up and the offensive linemen are pointing who they're going to block, and all of a sudden, boom, they snap it.
Right.
And we lost the tight end. We're in man-to-man. And when they snap it, we get our eyes back to our coverage on the tight end, and the back goes out to the flat, and it kind of pulled the eyes of one of our defenders, and there goes the tight end the opposite way for like a 30-yard touchdown. And, so that, we practice that a lot. We'll see if we can get a little better at that. That, to me, that's a scheme that's it's a good scheme, but it's a scheme that, man, we got to play that better.
Was Alabama the game where the quarterback fell down?
Faked like that.
Yeah, same game.
So was it a fake?
Yeah.
Was it a fake?
That was a different play.
Similar play. Yeah.
So the running back fell down, and the quarterback acted like he's falling down. And then they had the little tight end throwback. So the linebacker was in position, and then he was like, oh, man, what happened? Thought he handed it to the back, and he fell on the ground and thought the play was over, and there goes the tight end for 25. And so we gotta be better. So put them in a better call or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the time off, they are getting some guys back, and I don't know, you've had a chance to get some of your guys back, a little bit healthier, guys that played, guys that have been out, and I don't know, is this maybe close to the healthiest you've been all season, or?
Yeah, outside of maybe the very beginning, we went into the season in a really good, healthy place. So it's getting there. It is.
This segment has been brought to you by Riverwind Casino, official entertainment destination for OU Athletics. All right, we get one more segment with the coach. We'll talk about some award winners, and we'll get you ready for Friday night. It's Oklahoma, Alabama. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Comes back near side. Now he tries to go far, dancing between tacklers up across the 25. Tackled at the 30. Balls out. Loose on the field. Who's got it? Sooners say they've got it. Sooners sideline says they've got it, but no official agrees with them yet. Sammy Omosigho up out of the pile, and Oklahoma's got the football.
This is our final segment with Coach, and it's brought to you by Mercy. Mercy, your life is our life's work. I'm just watching that play. From the Alabama game. And I want to sit here and ask about like every guy that was involved, from the punch by Hardy to seeing Sammy O and what he's developed into since he moved inside. Taylor Wine is right there like in the middle of everything. Marvin Jones Jr., who's had a great year. It's exciting to see. I'm talking about all these defensive starters that take special teams so seriously, and it's so important. And you brought that up earlier with the leaders that Sandell and Grayson have been, but you have dudes that want to be a part of this.
Yeah, Doug Deacon, our special teams coordinator, he's done just a tremendous job, and obviously where we were 4 years ago to where we're at in that, in all of our special teams units. He does a great job creating buy-in, getting guys excited. He's passionate, he's detailed, great teacher, great motivator. And again, our guys have taken tremendous pride at dominating the field position and all the hidden yardage. And again, on the year, we've been pretty dang good in virtually every single game.
Do you see – I know the practice habits and everything have been great all year long, but down this important stretch, seeing how impactful it is in winning special teams in these big games, have you seen that kind of like the guys?
It's become a life of its own. And I think, it's one thing for it to happen, and then you remind guys, hey, remember what we said or whatnot. But Doug does a great job of sequencing the moments, the plays, and what happened the next drive, offense or defense, and how you impacted. Maybe it's Grayson Miller pinning them, Alabama, in the last drive, pinning them inside the 5-yard line. So they're coming off the 4-yard line, and next thing you know, it's 13 plays they chewed up 5.5 minutes, and they went 40-some yards, and they still got a long ways to go, and we get off the field on 4th and 6. So, but it all started by they're having to really work for it as opposed to shanking it. Next thing you know, they get it at the 25 because it goes in the back of the end zone, and now they're cooking, with a couple of good, successful plays. And so Doug's done a great job all year long of telling the story. And so using different teaching, resources, the TV copies and things like that. And next thing you know, the block punts and, and all the, not the coaches copy stuff that are kind of boring, but the TV copies that'll get up a lot, really close and personable, and it just feels like you're truly reliving it, and then just the whole team being synergized by it. It's really, I've done this for a very long time, and not many years where you had this profound of an impact in special teams that we have had this year.
By the way, I asked him. I'm like, Coach said that you'll address the team. in that he doesn't know what you're talking about. And he said he's used Ace Ventura Pet Detective, that he's used, Steve Irwin as a crocodile hunter.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, they don't know him. But they laughed. And I'm sitting here like, what did he say? Because he's trying to talk like a Australian, you know. And I'm like, I can't understand. What did he say? I'm saying that to somebody. And they're like, I don't know, but they love it.
Oh,
you know?
It's cracking me up. Talking about the surrender cobra and all those things. So, but it's a dude, and we could sit here and talk about all your coaches all night long. I mean, but you empower your assistants, and you always have. I mean, has that been something when you got this head coach's job that was always going to be part of your DNA to empower your coaches?
Well, yeah. I mean, you try to guide them and lay things out from an expectation standpoint and help them navigate, but you want to. You know, you want them to feel like you believe in them and you trust them too. And when you need to make corrections and be more involved, you do. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't do it alone. We're going to be successful. It's because of everybody.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the Groseville Award and how awesome that was. But how about 11 guys on the SEC teams and those guys getting recognized?
Yeah, it's good.
I don't
think we didn't have anybody last year, did we? Did we have anybody last year?
I think Danny was second team, maybe.
Yeah. And Billy was third team, I think.
It was interesting because I was like, 11 guys, that's awesome. And then I'm like, well, hang on a second.
Where's David Stone?
This guy didn't make it. This guy didn't make it. I was, you're happy and then still angry at the same time. But it's great to see all those names.
Yeah. And again, it's affirmation of hard work. You know, certainly they're talented guys, but man, that's a group of guys that have worked for their success, and I affirm that, not the talent. And there's, again, like I said, there's some talent there, but it's more about the body of work and consistency, and then again, there's the offensive guys, that are recognized too. Man, that's Jaron Kanak. Man, what a great story that is, and Fabechi, being recognized at the Burlsworth ceremony, as one of the best walk-ons, and what a tremendous testimony. Same thing, again, Grayson Miller, walk-on, kind of, again, he was a crawl-on, right? He crawled on at Oklahoma and found a hole in the fence and found his way in, and just kind of goofy and smiley, and we're like, all right, we ain't got anybody else to keep, after the spring, and we'll keep you. Got to have a backup, save a leg, and next thing you know, he becomes first team All-SEC, and I don't know if he'll make All-American. He should make All-American, and he's just been a stud. Again, I'm laughing again only because I was so far over here, and I love the guy. I didn't love the body of work in the spring, but golly, he had a great year. Great year.
I know we don't have a ton of time, but isn't that a great testament to always being ready, though?
Yeah.
Ulrich comes up with something, and here's a guy that hadn't really done much, and he went out and just hit bombs.
We were like shuffling through the papers up there calling the game. It's like, who's coming in? Who is this guy?
Yeah, he had a monster game.
Yeah, he did.
It's the monster game. Sometimes you got to overcome your coaching.
Coach, I think it's been a blessing to have you here at Rudy's all year long, man. I'm glad we were able to
appreciate
do
you guys. Thank you for everybody. Thank you.
We hope you have a great birthday celebration and an even bigger celebration on Friday.
Amen, man.
Yes, man.
Thank
there
you.
he is.
Appreciate
That's Brent Venables. Teddy and I will wrap up the show next live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Stick around.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Snap. Thompson kneels it down, and that'll do it. And here they come. They're not going to keep him off the field in Norman. Oklahoma has upset Alabama, and they have rolled the Tide right out of the college football playoff picture. Final score tonight in Norman. Oklahoma 24 and Alabama 3.
Yeah, I got anxiety watching that again because
trying to find the coach and everyone.
I was trying to find Coach, and if it's funny because if you ever see the ESPN shot of him doing the interview, you can see me like squished between people just waiting, and they just couldn't get in there. But it's a great moment, and now this is the third time in about a calendar year that you're facing off against Alabama. Coach didn't really seem to be too worried about it. I think the stat that's making the rounds as a defensive coordinator, he's 5-0 in teams that he plays twice in a season. In Oklahoma since 2000 is 8-0. But how about the nugget that he dropped on us? Alabama hasn't lost to the same opponent in a season since 1893.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a major storyline. We making too much of it? Played a team twice?
And I think I saw the scores of those games. They lost like 4-2 and then like 4-0 or something like that. Yeah. Here's the thing. There's a lot made about playing someone for the second time. And, if you go in there and it's a total fluke and you're outmatched and outgunned and you have to play that team again, okay, well, yeah, it's going to be hard to pull it off a second time. But, if you have a formula and you play to that and it's who you are and you've done it consistently to people and you can go in and do it on their field, then, you could do it again. I don't know how – there's so many variables in a football game. It's hard to say, like, necessarily if that's the truth. It's hard to beat someone 2 times.
Right.
I don't know. But all things considered, I like where we sit. I think this team, just listening to Coach Venables, it feels like they are in a really good spot mentally with what they need to do. And I know if I was selecting who I got to play twice and I was Alabama, I would not be picking Oklahoma, and Coach Venables and the way that he game plans.
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's have a blast. We've got a week, so we got to pace ourselves, but be ready to lose your mind, Sooner Nation, because Friday night has the potential to be special. So fun, Ted. Great
Awesome.
job all season long, man. We don't have a scheduled show next Monday, but who knows? Things could happen. This final segment has been brought to you by your local Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic. Enjoy the game on Friday. Have a great week. And Boomer Sooner, everybody.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by Riverwind Casino, always a good time. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.